galaxy groans under the weight of the Galactic Council's rule. A vast empire built on control and domination, its rulers, the Orin, have spent centuries maintaining order through fear. Their influence stretches across countless star systems, their warships enforcing laws that benefit only the elite. Any species that dares to challenge their rule is swiftly crushed, their civilizations reduced to mere shadows of what they once were. Humanity had once been a rising power, their technology advancing at a rate that alarmed the Council. In response, the Orin imposed harsh restrictions, forbidding interstellar travel beyond assigned borders and dismantling Earth's most promising advancements. What was once a thriving force of innovation became a subjugated species, reduced to a second-class existence under the Council's thumb. The Vorin, a species once feared for their warrior culture, suffered a similar fate. Once conquerors of vast territories, they were betrayed and subdued by the Council, their mighty fleets dismantled, their people scattered, their once proud legacy shattered. Now they are little more than enforcers, forced to police the very systems they once ruled. The galaxy is quiet under the Council's oppression, but beneath the surface, the embers of rebellion smolder. Captain Logan Carter stands aboard the bridge of the HSS Indomitable, humanity's last great warship. The Sigma fleet, a secretive and battle-hardened armada, remains hidden in the asteroid belts and shadowed nebulae, waiting for the moment to strike. Logan has seen too much war, lost too many comrades, but he knows that surrender is not an option. Every skirmish and every hard-fought battle has been leading to this moment, a final desperate push to break the Council's chains. Logan has spent years planning, watching, waiting for the Council to make a mistake. Now that mistake has come. Intelligence reports have identified the Nexus, the heart of the Council's interstellar communications and surveillance network. If humanity can cripple it, the Council's forces will be blind, their vast war machine unable to coordinate across the star. It's an opportunity they can't afford to waste. But Logan knows the cost of war. His crew, his people, they trust him to lead them, but victory is never certain. The weight of every life lost in battle rests on his shoulders. Still, there can be no turning back now. Humanity's future depends on what he does next. The mission is ambitious, some might say reckless. The Nexus is located deep within Council-controlled space, protected by fleets of warships and planetary defenses that could obliterate entire armada. But Logan knows brute force won't win this fight. He needs precision, speed, and the element of surprise. The plan is simple: infiltrate, destroy, and escape before the Council can react. Using stealth ships and experimental cloaking technology, a strike team will slip past enemy defenses, planting charges in critical points across the Nexus. Once detonated, the entire system will go dark, throwing the Council into chaos. In that moment of confusion, humanity will strike, launching coordinated uprisings across occupied worlds. Failure is not an option. If the mission is compromised, the Council will retaliate with overwhelming force, wiping out what remains of human resistance. But Logan knows that history is written by those who dare, and he is willing to bet everything on this one chance to break free. Logan knows that even with a flawless plan, humanity can't do this alone. The Council's forces are too vast, their grip on the galaxy too strong. They need allies, warriors who know how to fight, who have a reason to hate the Orin as much as they do. That means reaching out to the Vorin. The Vorin have spent decades under the Council's rule, their once great armies reduced to scattered remnants. Their leader, Zalaroon, is a hardened warrior, proud but bitter. He sees humanity as reckless, unpredictable, and weak compared to his own people's once glorious past. But Logan speaks to something deeper, not just revenge, a chance for the Vorin to reclaim their honor, to stand as warriors once more. Fight with us, Logan tells Zalaroon, and together we burn the Council to the ground. It is not an easy decision. The Vorin have been burned before by false promises, their past alliances ending in betrayal. But the Council has left them no future, no choice but servitude or extinction. Zalaroon weighs Logan's words carefully. He sees the fire in the human's eyes, the unbreakable will to fight against impossible odds. After a long silence, Zalaroon speaks. We will fight. A new alliance is forged, and with it, the first true hope of breaking the Council's hold on the galaxy. The battle for freedom is about to begin. Exterior, the Galactic Council Nexus Station, orbiting the core worlds. The void of space shimmered with the massive presence of the Galactic Council's warship. Towering behemoths of steel and plasma cannons, their hulls gleamed with an eerie blue glow as they formed an impenetrable wall around the Nexus station. Humanity's arrival had not gone unnoticed. On the bridge of the UNS Warrior's Resolve, Admiral Kellen observed the tactical display. A crescent formation of Vorin and human ships held position just outside the station's defensive perimeter. The tension was suffocating, a silence before the inevitable storm. Admiral Kellen grimly, "They know we're here, it's only a matter of time." The Council's response was swift. Defensive turrets along the Nexus station hummed to life, their massive energy barriers forming a translucent dome over the central hub. The fleet of Council warships aligned their weapons. A warning. Inside the Nexus station, High Commander Elvath stood with narrowed eye. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he glared at the holographic projections of the human fleet. Elvath, they dare stand against the Council, so be it. A single plasma lance fired from the lead Council dreadnought. The shot tore through the silence, splitting space in a brilliant blue arc. Admiral Kellen coldly, "They fired first." The battle had begun. The human fleet, tactical command room. Within the war room of the Warrior's Resolve, Logan's fingers danced across the holographic interface. His team of cyber warfare specialists had prepared for this moment. They launched the first wave of countermeasures, sensor phantoms. Dozens of spectral ships flickered into existence on the Council's radars, each an identical signature to the real fleet. To the enemy's scanners, the battlefield suddenly became a maze of ghostly warships, all radiating the same combat frequencies as the actual human fleet. On board the Council's flagship, their fleet commanders snarled in frustration. The projections of their targeting systems twisted into chaos. "Council officer, which ones are real?" "Our scans, Commander. Fools. Fire at all of them." Blinding energy beams ripped through the empty void, striking only illusions. A Council destroyer in its panic unloaded a full barrage onto one of its own ships, mistaking it for an enemy vessel. Meanwhile, the real human fleet drifted undetected, slipping into the Council's blind spot. Logan smirking, "They're shooting at shadows. Let's make this count." Interior, Galactic Council Nexus Station. Outer hull. Explosions rocked the station as boarding pods breached its metallic shell. The Vorin warriors, humanity's unlikely allies, surged forward with primal fury. Their energy blades cut through Council defenses with terrifying precision. Logan's strike team navigated the corridors, pulse rifles raised, pushing toward the main control hub. Sirens wailed. The smell of burning metal filled the air as plasma bolts streaked past them. Logan to his team, "Stay sharp. We need to override the main systems before they regroup." They stormed through the halls, dropping Council soldiers in bursts of rapid gunfire. At the end of the corridor, a reinforced blast door loomed. Logan, "Set the charges." A Vorin warrior, Jorvas, stepped forward, placing a breach charge against the door. With a deafening boom, the barrier crumbled. Inside the control hub, Council officers scrambled to initiate lockdown protocols. Council officer, panicked. "They're inside." Seal the Logan's team opened fire. A fierce battle erupted in the confined space, but humanity's elite warriors cut through the resistance. Logan grabbing a control panel, disabling the station's defenses now. A final keystroke. The entire station flickered. The shield barriers collapsed. Exterior, Galactic Nexus Station. With the station's defenses neutralized, humanity's fleet delivered the final blow. Quantum torpedoes, shimmering with contained singularity energy, tore through the Nexus Station's core. The impact was immediate. Fire consumed the structure, a blinding explosion rippling through the void. The Council warships faltered, their once mighty armada now leaderless, directionless. On board the Warrior's Resolve, Admiral Kellen watched in silence. "Admiral Kellen, it's done." The Nexus, the heart of the Council's power, was no more. Bridge of the UN's Warrior's Resolve. In the eerie silence that followed, the glow of the Nexus's wreckage illuminated Logan's face. He exhaled slowly, gripping the console in front of him. "Logan, they won't forget this." Across the system, enemy fleets hesitated, their command structure severed. Confusion rippled through the Galactic Council's forces. The rebellion had begun, and humanity had just fired the first shot. "Admiral Kellen, this is only the beginning." Rising conflict. The ruins of the Council's once invincible fleet drift through space, a graveyard of arrogance and misplaced superiority. Yet despite the staggering losses, surrender is not an option. Councilor Xanth, his pride wounded, and his authority questioned, rallies what remains of the Council's fractured armada. Fear fuels his desperation. If humanity's rebellion is not extinguished now, the Council's reign will end. "Mobilize every warship we have left," Xanth commands. his voice sharp with fury. Scorch their worlds, break their spirit. They will learn to kneel again. From the depths of their strongholds, the remnants of the Council's navy emerge. Dreadnoughts, battleships, and swarms of fighters descend upon human-controlled territory. Strategic strikes cripple spaceports, obliterate supply lines, and sow chaos among the fragile rebellion. Planets that had tasted the first breath of freedom now watch in horror as the Council's retaliation threatens to drown them in fire once more. But this is not the humanity the Council once crushed. They do not cower. They do not beg. They fight. Captain Logan Carter stands aboard the HSS Indomitable, eyes locked onto the holographic display of enemy movements. Every counter-strike from the Council is met with ruthless precision. Humanity cannot match the Council in sheer numbers, but numbers mean nothing when their enemy is blind and bleeding. Strike where it hurts, Logan orders. No prolonged battles. Hit and vanish. Human fleets, operating in coordinated strike groups, launch wave after wave of surgical assault. Advanced AI-assisted targeting allows them to cripple shipyards before the Council can react. Weapons depots explode in brilliant fireballs. Entire supply chains severed before they can reinforce the enemy. The Council's once mighty war machine stutters, gears grinding to a halt, as its logistical arteries are severed. The Council's admirals rage, demanding an answer to Logan's ruthless efficiency. But their rigid doctrines, once the foundation of their dominance, now work against them. They cannot adapt. They cannot outthink their foe. Humanity, underestimated for so long, has become the hunter, and the Council, they are the prey. As the Council reels from the unexpected brutality of humanity's counteroffensive, Logan turns to a different weapon, one just as deadly as their fleet. He stands before the cameras, his message broadcasting across every known system. His voice is calm but resolute, laced with the undeniable truth of victory. To every species suffering under the Council's rule, you have seen their weakness, you have felt their oppression, but now you see their fear. They are not invincible. They are not gods. They can bleed and they can fall. Join us and we will shatter their chains together. His words ripple through the galaxy. The oppressed listen, the hesitant reconsider. The Council's power, once unquestionable, now teeters on the brink. Xanth, in a desperate attempt to regain control, denounces humanity's rebellion as madness. Surrender is not an option. We are the rightful rulers of this galaxy. We will not bow to lesser beings. But his words, once absolute, now ring hollow. The war has changed, and the galaxy is watching. The time for precision strikes is over. Humanity has bled the Council's forces dry. Now they move to finish the war. Logan surveys the assembled fleet. Hundreds of warships, thousands of fighters, every pilot and soldier ready to carve their name into history. This is it, he murmurs. One last push. The offensive begins. The largest space battle in human history erupts as fleets collide in a symphony of destruction. Plasma beams carve through hulls. Torpedoes detonate in brilliant explosions, and the void is filled with debris and wreckage. The Council's ships fight with the desperation of a dying empire, but humanity's fleet fights with purpose, with fire, with an unbreakable will. For every human vessel that falls, 3 more press forward. No retreat, no surrender. The Council's command structure crumbles, their admirals panicking as their once mighty fleets are outmaneuvered, outgunned, and overwhelmed. Then the real nightmare arrives. As the Council's main fleet falters, a final wave emerges from the void. Colossal dreadnoughts, behemoths of war, each one capable of leveling entire planets. Their presence is enough to silence the battlefield, their massive cannons humming with the energy of annihilation. Incoming dreadnoughts, a tactical officer shouts. They're targeting our command ships. Logan's jaw tightens. All units, evasive maneuvers, engage at will. The tide of battle shifts as humanity's fleet scrambles to counter these monstrous warships. Smaller vessels dart between the dreadnoughts' blind spots, hammering them with torpedoes and kinetic strikes. But the dreadnoughts do not falter. Their shields hold, their weapons carved through human ships like paper. One by one, the dreadnoughts begin to fall, but at a terrible cost. For every Council warship destroyed, a dozen human vessels are lost. The battle hangs on the edge of oblivion, the fate of the rebellion teetering between triumph and destruction. Then Logan makes the call that will change the war forever. Activate the override protocol. Now, a hidden fleet, humanity's last gamble, decloaks from the shadows of a nearby gas giant. Experimental rail cannons and AI-driven warships unleash a coordinated onslaught.
The Council's dreadnoughts, so reliant on their sheer size and power, are torn apart in an instant. As the last dreadnought crumbles, silence falls over the battlefield. The Council's final defense is shattered. The war is nearly over, and humanity stands on the precipice of victory. Exterior deep space, Galactic Council warfront. The void was ablaze with chaos. Plasma bolts carved through the darkness, illuminating the battlefield in eerie shades of blue and orange. Logan stood firm on the bridge of the Indomitable, his gaze locked onto the monstrous dreadnought that anchored the Council's fleet, Xanth's flagship. Logan grimly, "That's our target. Take Xanth out, and the rest will crumble." The massive warship loomed before them, its sheer size dwarfing every vessel in sight. Its energy shields shimmered as it absorbed incoming fire, an impenetrable wall of defense. Logan clenched his fists. This was the moment that would decide everything. Logan resolute. "All ships, focus fire on the dreadnought. We end this now." Bridge of the Indomitable. The Council's flagship retaliated with a ferocity unlike anything before. Plasma lances streaked through space, searing through human cruisers, leaving them shattered and adrift. The Indomitable shuddered under the onslaught, alarms blaring as fires broke out across the decks. Tactical officer shields are failing. "We've lost the portside batteries." Logan gritting teeth. "We hold the line. Keep firing." Crew members fought against the growing destruction, sealing off ruptured compartments and extinguishing flames. The dreadnought kept pressing, its relentless barrage threatening to tear the Indomitable apart. "First officer, we can't take much more of this." Logan growling. "Then we fight until we have nothing left to give." Command deck. Tactical analysis room. Samir's fingers flew over his console, scanning every scrap of data on the dreadnought's defensive. The rhythmic oscillation of its shields, the brief flickers between each phase shift. Samir, eyes widening. "I've got it." Their shields cycle in a predictable pattern. There's a half-second vulnerability between shifts. He turned to Logan, excitement battling urgency. "Samir, if we time it right we can punch through, but it has to be perfect." Logan didn't hesitate. "Logan, we trust the data. All weapons, prepare for a precision strike." "Samir, you get one shot. Make it count." The battlefield became silent in Logan's mind. Everything hinged on this moment. Samir, calling out. "On my mark. 3, 2, 1, fire." A concentrated barrage of railgun slugs and high-yield plasma cannons ripped through space. The dreadnought's shields blinked out for a fraction of a second, just long enough. The projectiles punched through the hull, straight into the ship's reactor core. Tactical officer, direct hit, core destabilizing. A surge of energy crackled through the behemoth. Blue arcs of uncontrolled plasma flickered across its surface, growing in intensity before. A massive explosion tore through the dreadnought, sending debris spiraling in all directions. The force of the blast rocked every nearby vessel. The heart of the Council's fleet was no more. The Council's remaining forces hesitated, their leader gone, their morale shattered. The once coordinated fleet fractured, some ships retreating, others frozen in place. The Voran warriors, sensing weakness, charged with renewed fury. Human warships pressed the attack, cutting through what remained of the enemy. Logan stood on the bridge, watching the battlefield shift in their favor. "First officer, they're breaking ranks. It's over." Logan exhaled, the weight of the battle settling over him. Logan softly. "One battle, but not the war." The wreckage of the Council's fleet drifted silently through the void. Humanity had won the day, but the future remained uncertain. The war was far from over. The Indomitable stands, surviving the aftermath. Logan stands on the bridge of the Indomitable, staring out at the battlefield through the reinforced viewport. The vastness of space is littered with debris, twisted metal husks, shattered Council warships, and the drifting remains of fallen warrior. The ship's hull bears deep scars, its armor plating scorched from relentless barrages. Yet it still stands. The command deck buzzes with controlled chaos. Emergency crews scramble to seal hull breaches and stabilize the ship's failing power grid. Sparks rain down from exposed conduits as engineers work frantically to restore critical systems. The soft, rhythmic beeping of life support scanners echoes through the bridge, each signal a desperate call for survivors. A communications officer turns to Logan, his face grim. "Sir, we've confirmed multiple ships lost. Casualties are high." Logan clenches his jaw, forcing down the surge of grief. "There's no time to mourn. Not yet. He places a steady hand on the officer's shoulder. We hold the line, send rescue teams to recover every survivor we can. No one gets left behind. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, regroups. Fighters return to their carriers. Wounded ships drift into formation. And the realization dawns against impossible odds. They have won, but at what cost? The council in ruins. The galaxy awakens across the galaxy. The news spreads like wildfire. The mighty council has fallen. The once unshakable order of the universe lies in ruins. Its fleets decimated. Its command fractured. On countless worlds, a ripple effect begins. Suppressed civilizations rise, throwing off the chains of oppression. Rebellions erupt. Long subjugated species take up arms, storming council outposts and seizing control of their homeland. In the once glistening halls of the Grand Council chamber, silence reigns where decrees of domination once echoed. Council loyalists flee, their iron rule crumbling under the weight of humanity's defiance. Even the council's staunchest allies hesitate. Doubt seeps into their rank. Fleets once poised to reinforce the council now hold their positions. Commanders weighing their loyalty against the shifting tides of power. Some defect outright, recognizing the inevitable fall of the old regime. Others wait, uncertain, watching humanity's next move. And at the heart of it all, the banner of Earth rises among the stars. Humanity at the crossroads, a critical decision. Within the Indomitable's war room, Logan stands before a holographic projection of the galaxy. Around him, his war council debates the future. Admiral Riker folds his arms. We press the attack. The council still has strongholds. If we hesitate, they'll regroup and strike back. Commander Shaw shakes her head. We've lost too much already. If we overextend, we could collapse under our own weight. We need to consolidate. Secure our position. Logan listens, his gaze fixed on the shifting star maps. He knows they stand at the precipice of history. A wrong move could mean chaos. Another war. Or worse, a new tyrant, rising from the ashes of the old. He exhales slowly. If we crush them now, we risk becoming the very thing we fought against. If we pull back, we risk losing everything we gained. The room falls silent. The burden of leadership is heavy. The weight of a galaxy's fate pressing down on his shoulders. One decision, one path forward, and no turning back. The Voran's oath. Warriors for a new order. Chirax, the Voran war chief, steps forward. His crimson battle armor still bearing the scars of combat. His species, once feared conquerors, then broken slaves, now stands on the edge of rebirth. The Voran do not forget debts. Chirax growls, his voice deep and resolute. Humanity has given us something no one else has hope. Behind him, a legion of Voran warriors kneel, their fists striking their chests in unison. A thunderous oath of loyalty. Their eyes burn with the fire of vengeance, with the hunger for redemption. We fight, Chirax continues, not just for the Voran, not just for Earth, but for a new order. One where no species kneels in chains again. Logan meets his gaze. In the Voran, he sees kindred spirits, warriors tempered by suffering, bound by a cause greater than themselves. He nods. Then we stand together. The war isn't over, the council isn't finished, but the tide has turned. Humanity, alongside its newfound allies, marches toward the dawn of a new era, one forged in fire, defiance and unbreakable will. Dark space. A lone transmission bursts through the void, aboard a derelict satellite. Deep within the remnants of council space, a shadowy figure hunches over a console. The message is brief, urgent, encrypted beyond standard protocols. Human command. This is Operative Kale. They're still here, hidden, preparing. The war isn't over. Coordinates attached. Send everything. The message ends. The transmission burns itself out, leaving no trace. The operative vanishes into the abyss. His mission complete. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Logan Carter listens, his expression unreadable. He had dared to hope, however briefly, that the battle was truly over, but deep down he knew better. The council's last stand had been a distraction, a feint. The real threat lurked in the shadows, rebuilding, biding its time, a hidden fortress untouched by war now massing for a counterstrike. Logan exhales, his gaze steely. Humanity's greatest enemy was not dead, merely wounded, and a wounded beast was the most dangerous of all. The bridge of the Indomitable, silence, the weight of command. Logan stands alone, staring into the endless black of space. The stars blink indifferently, cold and eternal. His hands rest against the control panel, fingers flexing with quiet tension. The war had taken its toll, battles fought, lives lost, victories earned at unimaginable costs, and now, the promise of peace was shattered with a single transmission. He breathes deeply. There is no hesitation, no doubt. Humanity has come too far, endured too much to falter now. He presses the intercom, his voice steady. All command staff report to the war room. A pause, then he adds the words that will shape the fate of the galaxy. Prepare the fleet. We end this. Engines ignite. War drums in the void. The storm approaches. Throughout the fleet, warships power up. Weapons systems locking in. Engineers scramble. Loading fresh ordnance. Patching battle-scarred hold. In the barracks, soldiers suit up, checking their weapons. Sharing brief words with comrades who may not return. The Voran warriors stand ready, their eyes burning with vengeance and resolve. Across every vessel there is no fear, only grim determination. Logan watches from the bridge as the fleet moves into formation. Humanity and its allies had the upper hand now, but how long would it last? How many more would be lost before the final shot was fired? The war rages on, and the stars watch in silence.